Hi everyone, welcome to Meditation Made Easy. I am Mattie Dionne and I will be sharing some information on meditation, why meditation is so important, and how to do meditation. Before I go further, just a little bit about myself. So I have been a certified hypnotherapist, intuitive healer, and also a transformation coach since 2011. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So why meditation? Why I will choose this as a first actual video, official video to share with all of you. In fact, I talk about meditation all the time. I do meditation on daily basis, and I'm sure there are many people out there are also with me who are doing daily practices on meditation. Now, so why so important? What's so special about meditation? So, number one, sometimes people will think about meditation as a way to calm your mind. Yes and no. So it's not necessarily calming the mind with that approach. In fact, before we even talk about calming, is to learn to understand the deep understanding of who we truly are. And so we are training our mind. Our mind is simply a tool. As I always say this, we're not our mind, we're not our thoughts, we're not our body, we're not our emotions. Without fully understand this part, sometimes it can be very detrimental to look at to do practice in meditation. Now, what do we train our mind to do? We train our mind from the baby step. Number one, we have to train our mind to become more focused, or I should say a better term for it, instead of focus, to become more aware and tune into one thing. Whether it's about a sound, an object, or no object, or simply your own breathing. That's why nowadays you may hear and watch a lot of videos that people teach about breathing exercise, mindfulness practice. We're training our mind to build a focus to something. Breathing is a one simple thing to do because we always breathe, or else we'll be dead by now. When I say dead, meaning the soul left the body. The soul doesn't die. Okay. Now, going back to this training the mind to stay focused. So that's why I want you to take a moment not to think about calming the mind. Stop looking at the calmness piece. Just look at the baby steps. Step one, train your mind to build focus on demand. Think about it for a second. We often to do multitasking, right? At work, at school, at home. We're trained to be what we call, as a hypnotherapist, we talk about hypersuggestible. When we're doing multiple things at the same time, going through a lot of stress, we tend to run on what we call the hypnotic state. When we're under hypnotic state, anything that bombards you through five senses, you just kind of pick it up into your subconscious mind. I'll give you an example. When you're done at work, this is one simple example I share very often with my clients. When you're done at work, you can't wait to go home because you're so exhausted. And by the time you get home, and you park your car, you beep your alarm. Yes, I just said that, you beep your alarm. And then you went into the house or your apartment. You sat down and you thought to yourself, wait a second, how did I get home? I was on autopilot. That autopilot, by the way, is your subconscious doing. So subconscious basically is our database that control all our habits. Okay, that's why we call it unconscious or subconscious habits. Like driving a car, you don't have to hold your key like how we first learned how to drive, and you have to do step 1, step 2, step 3. Look at the key, put it into ignition, turn the key, start the car, check your mirrors. Remember all those steps when you first learned how to drive? And then now, if I tell you to do that, you will probably look at me like I'm crazy. Like, I don't need to do that. I'm on autopilot. I don't have to think. I just do it, right? So again, to take a step back to understand that our mind tend to go off to where we tend to do what we are comfortable to do or what we are accustomed to do, right? So now training your mind to focus on something that you don't normally do. In other words, let's just say breathing. Since you don't have to pay for yourself to breathe, naturally your body does it on its own. Now, with that being said, you can train yourself to do deep breathing rather than shallow breathing. So when we are teaching people how to do breathing exercise to become more mindful and eventually you become more in tune, the key words are in tune. To be in tune to your body, your physical body and sensations, or even discomfort. So that piece is very important. Rather than telling your brain to do thousands of things at the same time, you tell your brain just to do one thing and focus on one thing. Isn't it challenging? Yeah, for a lot of people, because we are hardwired, almost like hardwired to do multiple things at the same time. If you think about that, take a second to think about what's going on with your life right now. Where's the stress coming from? And how did you tackle the daily work, whether you're at home, at school, or somewhere else? So step 1, train your mind not to stay calm yet. Train your mind to focus on something that you can focus on. Learn to focus. And then eventually, you will get a hang of it, meaning to follow your breathing from head all the way down to your feet and your toes. Come back and allow yourself to become more aware of the sensations. So going from focusing to becoming more aware. So that is a very important step. And throughout the process, I guarantee you, you are going to have lots of thoughts coming through. Our hamsters just don't stop, don't they? So if you think about it, to tell yourself be quiet for 5 minutes, it's like a long period of time. And I'm sure some of you will feel the same way, because I was one of those people to feel like, oh, hell no. As such an irony that I actually put meditation as the first training official video. I was one of those people who shovel this meditation practice as far as things on my to-do list, even after I became a pranic healer. I started out as a pranic healer. But again, the point is, it is important just to remember baby steps. Set yourself up for success. And do it one thing at a time. Number one thing, and just to remember why it's so important, you will come to the realization. I will continue to explain to you why. Okay, and then we'll go back to the how to. Now, train your mind to do focus to become aware. That awareness becoming so prominent that you will become more aware not only internally about your body, but also externally around your surroundings, your external environment, right? And what does that do to you? Big one. So I am going to kind of give you an example. Think about how animals, so all my dogs and my cat is right here. When there's a natural disaster, for example, like earthquake, in California, when I was in California, my dog, Chi Chi, just passed away, but she knew something's up. Animals can pick up energy, the vibrational energy, the frequency, they can pick up things are shifting from far, far away from us. And humans don't necessarily be able to pick that up. Why animals are so in tune to the Mother Earth? They are so in tune, it's because they are. We are being sidetracked. We are so accustomed to multitasking. We are so used to some other stuff, but not so much to tune in and tune out on demand. Meaning, I can be aware of something's going on, but I'm not fixated on something. In other words, think about Spider-Man. The laser beam focus, the visual acuity after Peter Parker became a Spider-Man. First thing he realized, he didn't have to wear glasses. Things becoming so in tune, so sharp, laser beam focus, awareness, feeling things are flying, flowing at you without you seeing. That's what we call energy. Vibrational frequencies. Same thing for martial art practitioners, people who practice martial arts. And think about what they can do. A lot of times these folks, if they truly practice martial arts, traditional martial arts, they practice internal qigong, and some also would do both internal and external. And most of the time people will be more focusing on external. But again, a true master will always cultivate their ability of that awareness to become in tune with their body as well as their external world without seeing with the naked eyes, but be able to sense energy that is shifting. So that's why meditation, at the end of it, what you want to see the desirable outcome from meditation is to bring your intuition, heighten your intuition, so that you will become more aware. Not to focus, but to become aware and to be a human being, not a human doing. I hope that makes sense to all of you. But anyhow, so as I'm going to continue to share some other information with you, I hope that it won't be too much. I hope that it will make sense enough for you to be willing to take a step forward and really put into practice. Okay. So what's going to happen is once you're able to go from focusing on your breathing, eventually your mind will tune out, relax, and then from time to time, you will still notice thoughts are coming through. What happens is, at some point, you will start to notice there is a dissociation from yourself and your thoughts. So, for example, when people are running into a lot of challenges such as anxiety, lots of stress. Let's just talk about stress. Don't even talk about anxiety. Thoughts are coming in. Something happened at work. Something happened at home. Thoughts are coming through. At first, when you start doing meditation, you may feel flustered by those thoughts because you may think you have to be calm, be collective, and be just cool and chill about it. You won't. But the training at this point, at this phase, is to remember that it is okay when you have those thoughts coming through on a high speed. Eventually they will slow down. And what you have to take the approach when you are starting to have thoughts coming in that will bother you very much, especially something that is so unpleasant, you simply have to acknowledge to yourself silently in your mind and saying like, okay, I got it. I notice you. I notice this thought. And that's okay. I know what's going on. It's okay now. You can go now. Basically, you have to give yourself the permission internally to acknowledge the thought, acknowledge what happened, and then give yourself permission silently saying out loud to yourself, thank you. I got the message. You can go now. Next. It's almost like you're doing a fast forward of a movie clip. And then let those thoughts come through rather than staying stationary and you dwell on it. This part of the training is so important because at the end of this mastery, when you are able to get a hang of it, you're starting to notice when the thoughts come through, you simply just go like, okay, I see you, bye now. Eventually, you don't even have to say that to yourself internally. You acknowledge it and just let it go. Let your thoughts to pass through. At some point, you're starting to notice that there is no association or emotional association to those thoughts. So from feeling being bothered by what happened, like today you got yelled at by your boss, okay, something bad happened today, and it bothered you very much for the longest time, and you just cannot stop thinking about it. So when you're trying to do meditation, you'll be like, oh, dang it. It's just the whole dialogue, the whole situation just keep on repeat and replay over and over in a loop in my head. Cannot get that out of my head. You will get frustrated by it. And a lot of times you will feel those emotions associated to that situation that will make you feel very uncomfortable, make you feel really angry, very sad, very disappointed, perhaps very fearful, depending on what the situation might be from that piece of memory. But again, once you be able to practice long enough, okay, I cannot give you a timeline, how often, how long, but I can assure you at some point, those similar situations happen to you that you are no longer reactive. So I always tell people, either you pay somebody like me, find a hypnotherapist to do some intense work to desensitize you from any trauma, okay? That's one way to do it. So again, I'm not saying meditation is the only one, but definitely meditation has such a powerful what I call desirable effects on all of us when we truly harness the results of it, the benefits of it. So yeah, so remember, if you're coming down to the point where something is bothering you so much, you may have to come out of it, and that's okay. Don't beat up yourself. Remember, you are learning to accept exactly what's going on in your mind. Be fully embrace yourself, good and the bad, through this practice. So when the thoughts come through, acknowledge it. Feelings come up, arise, let it out as you breathe out. Always train your mind to be okay, allow it to come in, and let it go. Whether it's just a thought or a thought and emotions or feelings or sensations. Train your mind to do it that way. Eventually, that will just come through like a wind, like breeze. Okay. And at some point, you'll be able to notice that you are no longer being triggered emotionally. That you will be just seeing something passing through as if you are a bystander looking at your thoughts. These are my thoughts, but my thoughts are not me. I'm not my thoughts. eventually you will come to that realization. Now, with that being said, that's an important piece to point out. And then what's coming next is that once you're able to get into that quiet space, let's just use the term space. It's really not about space. The deeper part of meditation, it's going back to the spirituality. We're a spiritual being that are residing in this vessel, or I call it holographic projection. It's the projections, the creation from our higher self, the creator, the divine force, God, oneness, whatever you call it. Now, so at some point you will be able to get to what we call meditative state. No more thoughts. So pure silence. It's going to take you some time to get to that piece. So don't fret over the baby steps, okay? But why is so important? I'm still talking about the why, even though I talk about a little bit about the how. Why so important to do meditation? This is the ultimate reason why. Not only you will be able to focus your mind on demand at any given time throughout the day. Let's say somebody is saying something bad to me. I didn't do anything wrong. I was accused of doing something bad, for example. I'll get upset for a little bit, and I can shift how I feel by going back into this meditative state within a couple minutes and shift my awareness going back to my higher self. The self-realization, your authentic self. Who are you and who are we? Let's go back to the fundamental question. Our authentic self, our divine self, right? So once I'm able to shift and go back into the alignment, tune into my authentic self, in that meditative state, it will immediately shift how I feel and what's going on right now, right here. I'll be able to get my mind go back into inwardly and connect it to my higher self. At that very given moment, then you will start to notice whatever happened a couple minutes ago, it's no longer there. And I can open my eyes and go back to that same situation, the same person who may be yelling at me. I will no longer be reactive. At some point, you will become more in tune to your higher self, where you don't even need to shift how you feel, meaning you're no longer being bothered by what really happened for the most part of your day. Step by step. Eventually, you become the master of your own thoughts. Your mind is a great tool, right? So we're using the mind to create plans, to execute plans, right? That's why when we're able to focus when we need to, think about how we are able to being able to take care of multiple things more efficiently without being panicked. Would that be good? Would that be good that you can have a bunch of ideas? Artists, creators, people who are very creative when it comes to designing something, engineers. So when I talk about creative, there are so many things that you can be creative. Anything that we do, we are actually, human beings are meant to be creators. Meaning, no matter what you do, you are coming up with some ideas. Ideas are coming from our ability to create. Ideas are the beginning of creation. We turn ideas into reality. What do we use? We use our brain. That's why I said that our mind is a very important tool. Our subconscious mind is so powerful when we are able to see how it works and leverage how it works and turn it into a great tool rather than turn it into something that is not conducive for us to be able to have what I call a fulfilling life, right? So when we know how things work, take a step back and look at like, how does it work with the subconscious? And what I'm doing with the meditation, ironically, without doing hypnosis, you are still be able to create some of the amazing permanent results that will be very similar, parallel to what a hypnotherapy session can do for a person. But meditation is an ongoing practice, daily practice. Ideally, you really want to do it on a daily basis. Okay, I will talk about that later. But again, so this is very important for me to point it out. You will become that individual who can truly shift how you think, therefore shift how you feel. Your thoughts trigger how you feel. When there is a what I call unhealed emotional wound or trauma, then you always have that buttons for people to push you and trigger you. But when you're starting to realize whatever happened in the past, that memory stored in your hard drive, your subconscious hard drive, that can be changed. Meaning I'm not deleting, removing what happened to you. I'm not going to erase the history of what happened. But your mind can definitely be reprogrammed to the point where you are no longer triggered by simply noticing and realizing that you are not your thoughts. All those old triggers are based upon the old experiences and reactions, what happened from the past. Therefore, you're reacting, echoing to what you did in the past from that reaction. But you are not being threatened right now. You're just being triggered. And you're being reactive from what you have learned previously, perhaps when you were a child, right? So understand that meditation has such a profound effect even for people who don't even bother to go to the hypnosis route. It can help you in the long run without you realizing it. It's very therapeutic. Let me say it one more time. Meditation is actually very therapeutic. My stubbornness, talking to you right now about meditation, really took me almost 10 years to finally to say it to you and share with you that I finally, because of my stubbornness, being a Taurus is not really helping, that I'm actually doing this on a daily basis, which, by the way, I enjoy doing it. Doing meditation is no longer a chore. It's no longer a practice. You notice I use the term practice very often because that's majority people will use the term spiritual practice, meditation practice. It's really not a practice. It's a way of living. Let me say it one more time. Meditation is a way of living. How important it is no difference from I need oxygen at any given moment to support me, to keep me alive. That's how important meditation is. And when you become the master, be able to do this baby steps, eventually you become proficient of it. You're starting to notice that you can toggle. I use the term toggle. I use it very often in hypnotherapy. You toggle between from beta to alpha and or even theta at a awakened state. Meaning I can meditate. Just imagine I can meditate even when I'm having the animals, like my dog right now is actually snoring. I can go right into the meditative state within a couple minutes, even with them snoring, making sounds, thundering, whatever's happening, even people walking, I can still go into that state, right? Ideally, I want to go to at least to go to alpha state. That's when you're able to go into that space, or I call it in tune to my higher self. Get right into theta. So again, I am sharing something that it took me years for my stubbornness, that my ignorance. I have my background, my master's in acupuncture and Chinese medicine. When I tell people that I study energy work, so forget about other stuff. I was quite ignorant. I'm very honest with everybody. I know that I was very ignorant, very cocky person. So going from that mindset to become like sharing this with you is because this is truly what truly changed my life. I'm not saying you don't need to do other stuff. We have to be able to fine-tune the balance. How can we juggle and balance physical wellness, eat well, sleep well, exercise according to your body type, right? Know your body well to know what food to eat, to know about your hormones and everything else, your body chemistry, your metabolism. That is what I call to tune into your body. Traditional Chinese medicine always talk about the balance of 5 elements. You talk about energy. So going back to this meditation piece, it's therapeutic. It's because you will become more in tune to something that you don't even know or have the words to describe, because I don't. You'll come to the term where you get to this understanding, the visceral experience, when you're able to truly harness the divine source within, when you're in a complete alignment while you're doing meditation. That is the most utmost piece of information I want to share with you. This is the one reason why I felt like sharing this video with you. It's so important before I even go any further to talk about energy healing. Because energy healing, it's a bigger topic. But again, think about that. I feel like I'm like a salesperson trying to sell you with meditation. I don't make commission off of this. But I just feel like, because meditation truly changed my life so much. And by the way, you want to learn more about neuroscience, please feel free to visit Dr. Huberman's YouTube channel. He's just wonderful. I love this guy. He just shares some amazing information, scientific backed up those data and statistics, and giving you science-based theories and understanding about how our brain works. So don't take my words for it. I am just sharing from my personal experience and professional experience working with people, what I could see people experience in transformation coming from the work that I do or the work that I help them with, right? So again, obviously I don't talk much about science. In my channel, you probably will notice I don't talk much about science. I'm more the spiritual person, whatever you label me. I don't like labeling, but obviously I have to hashtag this and hashtag that. I have to label as much as I go against labeling, but I have to do that for the sake of putting up the video and for people to be able to, find my video for what they're interested in topic wise. So anyhow, I hope I'm not going too far off topic, but definitely I want you to be able to understand where I'm coming from, why I'm so adamant about talking the benefits of it. If you truly are wondering who you are, you want to be able to let go of the shackles, invisible shackles that stop you from being who you truly are and stop you from fulfilling your higher purpose, definitely meditation is the way to go. Do you really need to go to see some what I call like sage or masters or teachers to do this? Technically, no. It doesn't hurt to learn from other people and other teachers, because we all do. But at some point, your teacher is coming from within the wisdoms within you. How can you open and unlock the wisdoms within you that is coming from you, not coming from other people. What I'm sharing with you today is just to knock on your door. Your inner source is always there. I'm just cracking on the outside. Imagine I have this egg, the egg that the little chickie is getting ready to hatch. I just go like knock, 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 knock. I don't have to do anything to help this chick. This chick will be able to come out of the shell at some point at a given time. Divine timing, right? So same thing. My job right now is to share what I experience, and through other people sharing, you will hear very similar messages. Sometimes you will learn something new from another individual. That's how we click in the head. And when you do click in your head, you start doing your practice. Like this is a late bloomer. When you're able to do that, your life will be drastically changed. For better. And I promise you, for better. Okay? So, let's continue, shall we? I never thought I would be talking so much with this one. So becoming proficient, okay? Toggle back and forth, beta, alpha, alpha to theta, or just go straight into theta. It doesn't matter. The goal is to be able to become your own master, master of your thoughts, knowing that the thoughts are just thoughts. You are not related to your thoughts. As the same saying goes, you are not your clothes. You are not your vehicle. Don't look at the car when the car is not working and you got upset with yourself that you are thinking the car is broken. The car broke down and you beat up yourself. The car broke down just because the car broke down. You did not break. You is wholesome. You talk about who you are, your authentic self. It's perfect. It's pure. The pure, formless, pure divine force within. Are you willing to do something for you to be able to let your light, the divine force, to come out of this vessel of yours? The choice is yours. Now, shall we move forward? I think we should. So how to meditate? I touched base on how to meditate. So it is not my intention to make it complicated. So understand that we are all different at somewhat level. Some people will be more leaning towards one way to do meditation versus the other. I remember when I first started out doing meditation, I had to do guided meditation because I just cannot shut my hamsters off, and I got really pissy. I mean, pissy. So I used to be a very angry person. Very, very angry person, like the gigantic Angry Bird, you know the game Angry Bird, you know they have the small little Angry Bird to the point where you will see the big bomber Angry Birds that you can kill so many things all at once. And you know, I'm one of those gigantic ones. So anyways, my point is, there's no one size fits all, okay? We all learn differently. Remember that, even on the very basic level, to look at our brain, how we learn. So be patient with yourself and understand yourself through this process, that you will be able to find and figure out what works better for you and what doesn't. Just because this approach works for me doesn't mean that it works for you. Just learn more about yourself. I cannot say it enough. When we truly know who we are, understand ourselves very deeply, connect with it, then you will know what works and what doesn't, and you will not be bashful about this or that just because so and so can do her way or his way, and they will come back and tell you that no, you need to do it this way. Do not let other people to tell you what you should or should not. You may gladly to welcome other opinions and suggestions, but doesn't mean that you have to follow all of them, because you are you, I am me. Granted, on the soul level, we are the same. We are still soul tribes, otherwise you won't be stumbling upon my video right now, still listening to me since I've been yapping for so long. So again, understand that there is no right or wrong. There is just a fine-tunement of what works better. So you just have to do it and see it for yourself. Okay, this is not something that you can read off from a book and then you think about it from your own what we like to do in hypnotherapy to get people to go through the visualization process, right? To connect, rewire the brain with the new experience, with the new sensations and emotions to make the brain register as a new experience that they just had. Don't think too hard. Learn more about it. Test it out. See what works better for you. Okay? Now, common questions about how to do it. Location. Please don't do meditation when you are driving. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay? Now, I'm not telling you not to meditate, but just please find a quiet spot. Make sure phone is not on vibrate. Not even vibrate. If it's gonna vibrate, please vibrate somewhere else. Okay? So make sure you give yourself enough quiet space. In other words, whether you lock yourself into your own bedroom, stay in the car when the car is not running, okay? In the bathroom if necessary, okay? The point is, stay in a quiet place where there is no distraction. Don't do it while you are operating machinery. That is a very important disclaimer, please. I put it here just in case people come back and tell me like, you're telling people to do meditation and I was just doing it here and I got hurt and I got injured, you know. So again, stationary, quiet space, easy enough, yeah? Okay. Focus. I talked about it earlier when I was talking about why. I touch base on this part. So do I need to focus on a candlelight? You know, oh my God. Just like hypnosis, people ask me, like, do you need to use the pendulum for me to get into the hypnotic state? Like, no. I can talk long enough to put you in a hypnotic state already. So again, when I said focus to, focus on breathing, you really don't need an object. Although some people prefer to have a tone. Buddhists, okay, let's just talk about Buddhists. You don't need to be a Buddhist. I'm just giving you an example. They like to chant. They like to chant Om. Christians, we do Amen. Some other folks would do Amen. Some would do Shalom. Om. If you listen to the tone of it, towards the end of the tone of it is the same going back to the Om. Okay, I'm not talking about religions here. I'm just talking about there are people who will truly be more beneficial for them to listen to a tone and focus on a tone and go into that meditative state easier. However, some people will find it very annoying, okay, or trigger them into some bad experience with some religious practices, okay? So don't use anything that will trigger you, okay? You don't need anything to stay focused. If you really want to do the focus piece, go back to what I talk about, breathing exercise. You just do it with your eyes closed, or some people will do it halfway closed. So you don't necessarily be able to see me clearly because my picture is kind of small. So just halfway, my eyelids are halfway, almost like, sit up, relax shoulders, and you just kind of like not completely shut, but by gently closing, not all the way shut, I'm just barely gazing on one spot. It's almost like blurring. Okay, that's another way to do it. I prefer just to close my eyes just because it can be distracting. Anything that come around, we tend to be distracted by what we visually see. Okay, that is the reason why clairvoyance at times, because they see things, imageries can be very distracting. Claircognizant folks, I'm more stronger on both, but I'm more claircognizant person. So I just know things. I don't have imagery. I just know things, right? That would be less distracting. But anyways, go back to this, okay? So yeah, breathing, okay? If you want to focus, just follow your breathing. Inhalation, exhalation. You follow that movement and follow it with your mind. Just feel the sensation as you're breathing in, breathing out. You don't have to go from head to toes. If you feel comfortable to do it, perhaps some people have been doing like breathing techniques and also yoga nidra. Feel free to do that, because that can also get you into that meditative state. Eventually, at some point, you will just kind of let it go, and then you are in a good space where you can completely just relax, but you are not asleep. Remember, meditation is not designed, like, let me just put it this way. You are not necessarily meant to go to sleep. I know some people do that, especially if they are laying down on their back. Some people do it on a couch. Some people do it on a yoga mat. Some people do it on a bed. Most of the times, especially when people do it during like nighttime, when they do that right before bedtime, they tend to fall asleep all the way. But again, it wasn't, I'm not saying right or wrong, because there are so many different schools of thoughts when it comes to that piece. You want to get into the meditative state, but not necessarily going to sleep. It's almost the same as I would tell my clients for hypnotherapy. If you want to go to sleep, like really, if you need to go to sleep, you don't want to pay people to go to sleep. Pop some melatonin, do something, have somebody whack-a-mole you, you can go to sleep. I really said that to a lot of my customers, but again, it's not the goal, right? Hypnosis is doing something else, but again, meditation is to train your mind to focus onto something, stay on one thing. From focusing, eventually you will tune out, like everything just kind of blurry, but you are aware of it, but just blurry. You just kind of let it go, but you are not asleep. Just becoming more aware. Awareness is almost like I will use the word be. Just be. Don't think. Do not engage your mental faculty. A lot of times people get stuck on this is because they try to think too hard. What I'm doing here, what I'm doing next. Do not engage on analytical thinking. That is the training part of the process. Eventually, you will let go of that analytical thinking, the critical thinking. You want to let go of that piece. Just go night-night for a little bit and just let yourself be. Just breathe. Okay? Now, guided meditation. It's a similar thing, right? Guided or not, I talk about that. It's totally up to you. It's truly. There are different effects on using guided or not. So I'm not going to get into that. But either way, if you want to start out with a guided meditation, go for it. If you want to get some really amazing music off a lot of great YouTube channels, I really appreciate a lot of wonderful souls. They have been creating a lot of amazing resources to share with the whole world. So feel free to tap into some of these free resources. Like, there are so many of them. Just pick the one that actually resonate with you, that won't irritate you, and just play that. Don't pick the ones that actually have commercial though. It will be very annoying. You just cannot do that. Okay. Or you can find some free apps. Some of the apps are not necessarily free, but they are really affordable, and you can use those as well. So whatever works for you, and also whatever works for your budget as well. You know, your personal preference, whatever works. Choose wisely, okay? Now, frequency. This is the one big one that people always feel very reluctant. I think that I was given not a whole picture of what meditation is about until I was able to pick up bits and pieces from different people, different teachers, to come to my own realization what really works for me. I can tell you right now, even if you just take 5 minutes, just 5 minutes a day, you schedule an appointment with yourself, 5 minutes a day. If 5 minutes is too long, just do 3 minutes. Okay, set a timer if you need to start out that way. Okay, on your phone, set a timer. Do it that way. And just to focus on your breathing. Don't think too hard on that. Until to the point where you will be able to just to notice your progress from feeling irritated, having other thoughts, I just cannot be quiet, just another one, another one, another one, just keep coming through, right? Slowing down, one at a time, slower and lesser, right? And then eventually you are not being reactive. It's gonna come to that point. I'm telling you because it took me a long time, because I thought that originally when I was learning meditation, I was told you have to do at least 30 minutes. I'm like, heck no, 30 minutes? I can't even sit still for 5 minutes. Like, I would be scratching, I would be itching, like, I kid you not, like, I would be like, man, people are still like, what the heck? I was one of those people. Difficult, okay? So yeah, just take small amount. Don't force yourself to do a long one until you get a hang of it. Small increments. Okay, baby steps do work really well in the long run. Okay, you want to build a solid foundation by creating a pleasurable experience when it comes to meditation. You have to be able to get your subconscious mind to be able to see that, hey, I can do a little bit better now. You feel good. Then you go after the feeling good of that success that you are able to create for yourself by doing meditation. So you really want to do baby steps, set really short amount of time to begin with. Okay, that is the key. And then eventually you'll build up. That's no difference from you saying, like, I'm going to go back to the gym, I'm going to lose like 20 pounds, and I'm going just to jump right in from not doing exercise to going to do like 2 hours straight. You can't. You just can't. Don't shock your system like that. If you want to detox, don't go crazy from not doing any detoxing, stuff, like whatever you were eating was crappy, and all of a sudden you just juice yourself for the next week. Probably will see you at the hospital. Don't do it to yourself from either not doing and doing a lot. Take it into moderation, no matter what you do in life. Moderation. Start with smaller increments, okay? Sounds good? All right. So again, I talk about practice makes permanent. I talk about it all the time. Practice does not make perfect, okay? Does not make perfection. No. Practice makes permanent. You can be practicing something that is actually completely outright good, okay? But you could be practicing something that is really not good for you. So practice does not make perfect. It just makes it permanent. Permanent doesn't mean good or bad, right or wrong. Okay? So take one day at a time, no matter what you do, whether you're creating a habit to do meditation, or you want to get yourself back into exercise or eating healthily. No matter what you decide to do, one day at a time, take one day at a time. This is the Reiki teaching, by the way, for those of you who've done Reiki training in the past and you're still doing it. Remember, there are different ones. I really, really like, this is the one thing, take one day at a time, meaning just for today, I will not be angry. In this case, we talk about meditation. Just for today, I will just do this 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever that is that you want to set up for yourself for success, for wonderful experience. Your goal is to create wonderful experience, to expand your ability to be able to see the potential in yourself that you can do more and better and improve. How can you achieve that? You're doing baby steps to make your life better, to transform your life into something that you truly desire, letting go of all those limiting beliefs. Whether you're just doing meditation to do that, or with other tools that you will be able to get together with different helpers and different teachers, whatever that you're doing, know that take one day at a time. It's good to set a goal, but when you set your goal too high, you're almost guaranteed to set yourself for failure when you have a lot more limiting beliefs that you haven't been able to work through. So please be gentle with yourself. Please be loving toward yourself. So being loving towards yourself is so important. Not to criticizing yourself, just don't criticize yourself. Love yourself, respect yourself, give some TLC to yourself. Don't judge yourself, just embrace yourself. The goods and the bads, okay? Self-mastery, obviously I talk about that coming down to like self-mastery. Meditation will get you to that direction for sure. To become master of your own mind. How powerful is that? When you're able to harness the power of your mind, turn it into a very powerful tool to create the life, success, happiness, anything that you want to be able to create. You can truly be that creator and utilize the tool to be able to create that reality. Not talk about other stuff. So there are different layers of talk about manifestation or law of attraction. But truly, to master the tool. So I give you a tool, you only use 1% of the functionality of the tool. How good can it be? Only the 1% of it. Same thing with our brain, because we don't tap into our brain, and there's so much more we don't know about our brain. I mean, we have the neuroscientists continuously, explore and learn more about our brain, how powerful it is. But still, there's so much more we don't know. If you really talk to them and listen to them, look at the research done. We already figure out just some little bit of something about our brain. We already get fascinated by it. Can you imagine we can truly harness just a little bit extra that we notice? And by the way, there's a movie, it's called Lucy, right? I forgot her name, Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson, right? She's in that movie. Watch the movie if you have a chance, okay? The power of our mind is so powerful. It's truly achieved that one consciousness. Can you tap into the big hub of the source, the divine source? Meditation can get you to that direction. I'm not promising you how long you'll be able to achieve that, but I can tell you for sure it's getting you to that direction, propel you to that direction for sure. Okay? Become a master of your own thoughts, become a master of your own mind. Take charge of your own mind rather than letting your mind or emotions to override you. No more fight or flight, freeze or collapse. Stop making the amygdala going crazy, right? Start to train your mind, train yourself to be able to see how powerful your authentic self is, coming from your heart center, noticing when you're doing meditation practice long enough, you're starting to realize you will become more sensitive to energy naturally without purposely doing it, and also becoming more intuitive and have more clarity, and also more creativity. These are wonderful things. Peacefulness, one big one. You will become more at peace no matter what happened in front of you, or you may perceive to see somebody saying something at you, and you will no longer see things that are being said at you or to you. In other words, you will be less reactive emotionally. That means through the process of doing meditation, naturally, your higher self, because you are getting into the meditative state for more frequently, for a longer duration, hopefully, right? That's the natural progression of doing that on a regular basis. You're building the internal muscles, even though we're not having the muscles to talk about. It's not like doing like weightlifting, but you see what I'm saying? That's just an analogy to build up your internal muscles, the strength of it. You'll be able to achieve peacefulness no matter what happened. Your response to the external world and environment will become much calmer, less reactive. That is the peacefulness we all want to achieve. But many of us nowadays in our country, in our world, for what's going on, we have more people who suffer from mental health problems. Am I right? Become your own master to your own thoughts, to your own mind, and your own emotions. Think about that. This is something that money cannot buy. Doesn't matter how many chips people are gonna put chips into my head, trying to control your mind, trying to download your consciousness. Let's just focus on our well-being. This is part of our well-being, a big part of it, not just on the physical level. Of course, I talk about the bonus gifts besides peacefulness. Earlier, I talked about your intuition, your gut instinct. Some people call it gut instinct. Regardless, that's your intuition. Okay, I'm not going to talk about all those clear, in general. Let's keep it very simple. You'll become more intuitive. You'll become more trusting your own gut instinct. Your gut instinct will be on point. That you will know for some reason, I just know this is the right thing to do. This is the direction I'm heading. I just know that this is gonna be okay. Or no, I just feel like that's unsafe to go over there right now. Your instinct will be on higher gear. And you will start to notice that when you're doing meditation long enough. That I will promise you, it's gonna happen. It's wonderful. It's wonderful when you have the clarity that you are no longer cloudy and foggy and just don't know what the heck is going on. Your mental focus and sharpness and creativeness, right? The creativity, you will start to see that it's coming out. You will notice that positive changes over the time. Talk about intuition, so I don't need to repeat myself again. But one thing, as you can see on this particular slide, I talked about earlier, I touched base on how meditation lays the foundation. It is important to create this daily practice routine, or I call it a way of living. When I incorporate this, it makes it so much effortless when it comes to doing energy healing, whether it's on myself or on other people. I can shift things quicker. I can manifest things quicker. All of that is coming from meditation. I give all the credits to my stubborn ass turned into a daily meditation practitioner. I just use the term so 3D verbiage and so human verbiage, but that's really what I'm becoming. And I've done a lot of healing work in the past, and the healing work definitely helps me at the same time, but it helps me differently. Okay, still connect to the divine. So again, there's not just one thing to do and then just do that without doing other things. You want to, how am I say this? Diversify your portfolio. This is really human. Sorry, this is really funny. Diversify your portfolio. Spiritual investment. Well, you're a spiritual being, so you don't have to really invest on that. You want to tap into your spiritual pool of wealth and utilize it, apply it, integrate into your current physical manifestation, your physical body, your physical being. So that will basically boost your capability to manifest, to be doing something greater than yourself, and have a wonderful, fulfilling life on the fast track. Not a bad deal. Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? That's a very human way to talk about this, right? Anyhow, the longer that we stay in the alignment, right? Remember I talked about toggle back and forth from beta to alpha or even theta. So I can share this with you. Like, so I recently just resigned from this nonprofit that I was working for a little bit time. Since I'm living up here, they're just be able to do this. By the way, living on a farm, it's already a miracle itself, because at the beginning I don't even know how I can acquire internet, because there is no signals, there's no cable company, they don't even serve the road that I'm on. They still don't. And I probably have to switch to Starlink, you know, get Elon Musk help and pay them like $600 plus tax and fees and shipping and to get the Starlink. So Starlink finally served my road. I just found out. But again, the point is to be able to do all this, you know, being online is very difficult. So helping out at this nonprofit, working for them, it's actually, for me, it was a dream come true, because I volunteer a lot for nonprofits in the past. However, I never worked for one. So this piece of like to-do list, my bucket list, I checked off. But I recently stepped away from it. And so to think about how often that I have to take just a couple minutes. I wasn't kidding. Like just a couple minutes, I would close the door. I have my office room. I would close the door just for a couple minutes when I wasn't feeling grounded, when I wasn't feeling in a good space, right? So I'm kind of, you know, our emotions fluctuate throughout the day, and that's fine. You know, our emotions are fluid, just like the tidal waves. You're not gonna tell the ocean, tell the Mother Earth to like stay put, don't move, stay still. That's all I want you to do. No, that's not part of the Mother Nature. We are part of the Mother Nature. We're so connected to the Mother Nature. And Mother Nature is almost like a reflection of what we have and what we are in the different forms and shapes. But at the end of it, like what I'm saying is not at the end of it, in the essence of it, we're very much mirroring what the true essence we are from the creation of the divine. So I would take a couple minutes, close my doors, right? So just close my door, and then I would sit there and just take a couple minutes and shift how I felt and go back into that full alignment with my, basically going back into that full alignment with my higher self or the divine. And then as I do that, even like right now, then you shift everything around you. Internally, externally, everything just boom. Almost kind of what I call it like recalibration back to the good feeling or calm feeling. Okay, calmness is always good. That's how I know, how I gauge my day. Am I feeling irritated? a little bit agitated, or I'm not like excited, I'm not sad, I'm not anything, I'm just even keel, like I'm just calm. So calmness is good. If you're able to achieve throughout the day for the longest time, you can stay calm and chill. Nothing really bothers you. That's good. But once in a while, things happen, right? You run into a situation where you're not too happy about. Then what are you going to do? You're not going to shoot yourself. Don't do that, right? How are you going to shift that feeling to go back to this? The meditation practice truly give me a new strength, and it's not even a tool. It's just not the right words. That I don't think we have the proper words to describe this. You just be able just to shift right back to where you need to be, and that's such a powerful thing that I never thought that I would be able to share this topic, this subject matter, that I never thought I would talk about meditation. Like, for now to look at what I'm doing, it's really humbling. So again, I want to thank all of you. Be willing to spend some time. I apologize, this thing's wobbly because I am really sitting in my bed. I live in a tiny home, 200 square feet. That's all I'm in. Really nice, beautiful, well-made, tiny little place with my animals and my cat. But I truly appreciate for you to take so much time, your own time, to listen to my sharing. And so stay in alignment as long as you can. And then as you do that, you will notice when you're starting to do energy healing, or for some of you perhaps already been doing energy healing, you're starting to notice things going faster. Healing is done faster, stronger, whatever that you would describe it. It will be amazing. I mean, amazing. It will be super duper awesome. Talk about this one day at a time, daily practice. Set yourself for success. Schedule a time with yourself. If you manage to schedule a time with your spouse, with your kids, and put it on your calendar, put it on your Google Calendar, like Outlook, whatever, put it on a piece of paper, schedule an appointment with your clients, with your customers. So schedule one with yourself. It can be done. It is easy to get done. So do that. Again, thank you so much for your time. And since this is my first video, I am planning, and I make the commitment to myself that I will continue to come up with more. I'm very thankful for this tool. Thankful for my experience just helping out at this nonprofit. I've gained so much more different life experiences that I never thought I would have, and I did. And so utilizing this, I never thought I would say it, like Microsoft Office 365 is actually pretty amazing. It's really saved my sanity here to be able to use PowerPoint. You know, everything that I'm doing is strictly PowerPoint. Just have a laptop. My laptop is not even fast enough and drive me nuts. But anyways, when I say drive me nuts, it's only nuts for a moment, and then it will shift back to what? Just energy healing it. No, I'm just kidding. So I thank you. I hope that you enjoy this video, enjoy what I share with you, and for the future upcoming videos, I hope you can stop by, and if you want to subscribe it. I'm not such a professional like most of the YouTubers are so autopilot on this. You know, this is still kind of new to me. I know I'll get a hang of it. Anyways, so I do just put some information here if you want to pause the video and just check on the information. I have my current website for people who need who need to get a hold of me, ask me questions, or even schedule a private session with me. It's currently on oneloveonemind.org. Eventually, it will be a different website, and I will announce that. I will put it out. I have a Facebook page as well. So for those of you who want to learn more about it, I think it's in my description. I just put a lot of stuff. I try not to put a lot of stuff, but I think it's in my description, okay? So you can check on the description. Email me if you need to. So here I give you a new email. I don't know if the description, I have to check on that. But right now I'm using Mattie Dionne at outlook.com. You can also call or text. Text message will work better. You know, text me if you really want to ask me some questions. I will do my best to answer you. Email will be better as always. Okay. So private sessions, go to oneloveonemind.org. Questions, concerns, email or text. I'm fine with that. Or unless you really want to have a conversation, feel free to call me. But just make sure you leave a message. Don't just call and then just click when you hear the voicemail. Okay. Now, one more thing, which is I just started, which is a group healing session virtually on Microsoft Teams. So I personally really love Teams. I use Teams very frequently. So now I'm still using Microsoft Office, particularly with Teams, to do virtual work. So any workshops, classes, even webinars. Now I'm restarting the group healing session virtually. It's $10 per person, and each group session will last about an hour. With that being said, the group session is only limited to 5 people per session because I do need the time with each of you individually, not for a whole lot, but definitely I would love to have that little personal connection with each of you as I will be doing the healing work for each of you to better understand what and how I can help you in that particular session. So read on it. It's on my Ko-fi page. So here's the link. It's also on my description. So you can go to the page, with the link. You should be able to see that particular product. It will say it in the title, virtual group healing session on a specific day. A limit to 5 people. You can purchase for yourself and your friends if you have to. Just know that it's only limited to 5 people, just so that I can cater and attend to just those few people. Smaller group is easier for us to have little discussion during the work, and then closing piece also another feedback and discussions on, you know, how things are being felt, the differences, you know, and so forth. So thank you so much again. I am going to continue to create more content coming from my personal and professional experiences. So hopefully that you will stay tuned for the next one. Until next time, I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.